What if I told you there are 10 crops that could feed your family for an entire year? They do not require summer heat. They do not demand expensive equipment. The best time to plant them is not spring. It is now. January. Most people assume nothing grows in January. But beneath the frozen surface, something ancient is waiting. If you miss this window, you will be chasing the harvest all year. Number 10. Garlic. Before there were pesticides, there was garlic. The Egyptians fed it to the workers who built the pyramids. Roman soldiers carried it into battle. For 5,000 years, farmers have known something science only recently confirmed. Garlic planted in the coldest months produces the largest bulbs. January soil forces garlic to focus entirely on root development. No energy wasted on leaves, no rush toward the sun, just silent expansion beneath the surface, building the foundation for what emerges in spring. A single clove becomes a full bulb. 10 bulbs become 100. 1 square meter of soil can yield enough garlic to season an entire year of meals. But garlic does more than flavor food. Its sulfur compounds repel aphids, spider mites, and rabbits. Planted among other vegetables, it becomes a chemical shield. The ancient Egyptians called it the stinking rose. Modern science calls it a natural fungicide and antibacterial agent. Garlic planted today will not be ready until July. That patience is the price of abundance. But there is another crop that moves faster and does something garlic cannot. Fava beans. Long before synthetic fertilizers existed, farmers knew a secret. Certain plants do not just take from the soil, they give back. The fava bean is one of them. Its roots form a partnership with bacteria called rhizobia. Together, they pull nitrogen directly from the air and convert it into a form plants can use. This process deposits up to 200 pounds of nitrogen per acre into the earth. That is more than most chemical fertilizers provide, and it costs nothing. Fava beans germinate in soil as cold as 40 degrees Fahrenheit. While other seeds rot in the January chill, favas push upward, thriving in conditions that would kill tomatoes and peppers. By late spring, each plant produces pods filled with protein-rich beans. 100 grams provides 26 grams of protein, which rivals beef. Mediterranean civilizations built entire diets around this crop. It fed armies, sustained peasants, and kept families alive through winters when nothing else grew. The beans can be eaten fresh, dried for storage, or ground into flour. But favas offer something beyond food. They prepare the ground for what comes next, and what comes next has fed humanity longer than almost any other vegetable. Onions, a vegetable found in the tombs of pharaohs, traded as currency in the Middle Ages, and planted in the first gardens of American colonies. January is when it begins. Onions demand time, not heat, not constant attention, but time. Planted now, they spend months building root networks beneath the soil before a single green shoot appears. This slow start is not weakness. It is strategy. Stronger roots mean larger bulbs. Larger bulbs mean more food per square foot. A single onion set planted in January can produce a bulb weighing over 1 pound by late summer. Properly cured and stored in a cool, dry place, that bulb lasts up to 8 months without refrigeration. No canning required, no freezer space sacrificed. Just food, waiting. Onions contain quercetin, a compound studied for its anti-inflammatory properties. They add depth to nearly every cuisine on Earth. They transform simple ingredients into meals. But onions are harvested once. You pull them, and they are done. The next crop works differently. It keeps giving for months without ever being fully harvested. Kale. Most vegetables offer a single harvest. You plant, you wait, you pick, and then the plant is finished. Kale refuses this arrangement. Planted in January, kale grows slowly through cold months, building dense leaves that withstand frost, snow, and temperatures as low as 20 degrees Fahrenheit. When you harvest the outer leaves, the plant does not die. It responds by growing more. One planting can produce continuous harvests for 6 months or longer. A single kale plant can yield over 1 pound of edible leaves across its productive life. 1 cup of raw kale provides over 100% of the daily recommended vitamin K, vitamin A, and vitamin C. The Romans grew it. The Scots survived on it during harsh winters when other crops failed. During World War II, the British government encouraged citizens to grow kale because it thrived in poor conditions and required almost no care. Cold weather actually improves its flavor, converting starches into sugars. But even kale cannot survive the deepest winter months. For that, you need something hardier, something willing to wait underground until you are ready. Number 6. Leeks. Some crops reward speed. Leeks reward patience. They are the slowest vegetable on this list, and that slowness is their greatest strength. Planted in January, leeks require up to 150 days to reach maturity. That timeline intimidates gardeners who want quick results, but those who wait are rewarded with thick, white stalks that can be harvested from late fall through the end of winter. When snow covers the garden and every other plant has died, leeks remain. Standing, edible, alive. The secret is their structure. Unlike onions, leeks do not form bulbs. They grow as tightly wrapped cylinders, layer upon layer, protected from frost by their own architecture. Temperatures that destroy lettuce and spinach barely affect them. Leeks have sustained Welsh miners, French peasants, and Scottish Highlanders through centuries of cold winters. 100 grams provides significant amounts of vitamin K, manganese, and folate. But leeks mark the end of the patient crops. The next entry is different. A crop that gives food before spring even fully arrives. Peas. There is a reason ancient farmers called peas the first gift of spring. They are among the earliest crops to produce edible food after winter planting. And unlike many vegetables, they work with your soil rather than against it. Peas germinate in soil temperatures as low as 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Planted in January, they establish roots during cold months and then explode into growth at the first sign of warming. By early spring, while other gardeners are just beginning to plant, pea vines are already flowering. Each plant produces pods continuously for several weeks. A 10-foot row can yield between 2 and 6 pounds of fresh peas. That is protein, fiber, and vitamins harvested before summer crops even break ground. Like fava beans, peas are nitrogen fixers. Their roots host bacteria that enrich the soil. After harvest, the plants can be turned directly into the earth, becoming green manure that feeds whatever comes next. Thomas Jefferson grew over 30 varieties at Monticello and considered them his favorite vegetable. But peas are delicate. They finish producing before summer heat arrives. The next crop has no such limitation. It grows deep underground and lasts for months. Carrots. Most vegetables grow toward the sun. Carrots grow away from it. Their value lies beneath the surface, in roots that deepen and sweeten through the cold months. January planted carrots develop slowly, but that slow growth creates something remarkable. Exposure to cold triggers a natural process where starches convert to sugars. The result is a carrot sweeter than anything grown in summer heat. This is why the best carrots come from cold climates. A single row of carrots, 10 feet long, can produce between 4 and 10 pounds of roots. Stored in sand or sawdust in a cold basement, they remain edible for 4 to 6 months. No processing, no electricity, just food waiting in the dark. Carrots are nutritional powerhouses. One medium carrot provides over 200% of the daily recommended vitamin A, essential for eye health and immune function. They contain fiber, potassium, and antioxidants, including beta-carotene. For centuries, carrots were stored in root cellars and fed families through winters when nothing fresh grew above ground. But carrots alone cannot sustain a family. The next crop can. Pound for pound, it produces more calories than almost anything else you can grow. Number 3. Potatoes. If you could only grow one crop to survive on, this would be the one. Potatoes produce more calories per square foot than wheat, corn, or rice in a home garden. A single plant yields 3 to 5 pounds of tubers. 100 square feet can produce 200 pounds of potatoes. That is enough to feed a person for 4 months on calories alone. January planting gives potatoes a critical advantage. The extended growing window allows tubers to develop larger before summer heat slows growth. Early varieties mature in as little as 75 days, while main crop varieties take up to 120 days, but produce larger harvests. Potatoes sustained Ireland for 2 centuries before the Blight. They fed Andean civilizations for 4,000 years before Europeans arrived. During times of famine and war, this single crop kept more people alive than any other vegetable in history. Stored properly in cool, dark conditions, potatoes remain edible for 6 to 8 months. But potatoes lack something essential for long-term storage. The next crop fills that gap perfectly. Number 2. Cabbage. Before refrigeration, before canning, before freezers, there was fermentation. And no vegetable ferments better than cabbage. Planted in January, cabbage develops tight, dense heads that mature by early summer. A single head can weigh between 2 and 8 pounds depending on variety, but raw weight is only part of its value. Cabbage transforms. Shredded and salted, it becomes sauerkraut. Packed with beneficial bacteria called lactobacillus, fermented cabbage aids digestion and boosts immune function. It prevented scurvy on long sea voyages. Captain James Cook credited it with keeping his crew alive during 3-year expeditions. The process requires no special equipment, just cabbage, salt, and thyme. Properly fermented sauerkraut lasts up to 2 years without refrigeration. That is food security measured in seasons, not weeks. Fresh cabbage stores almost as long. Kept in cold conditions, unwashed heads remain edible for 3 to 4 months. But there is one crop that outranks even cabbage. One planting that transforms a backyard into something almost forgotten. A way to grow your own bread. Winter wheat or grain. For 10,000 years, civilization has been built on grain. Every empire, every kingdom, every village that survived did so because someone planted seeds that became bread. And the best time to plant that grain is not spring. It is now. Winter wheat planted in January establishes roots during the cold months. When spring arrives, it explodes into growth with a head start that spring-planted varieties cannot match. This extended season produces higher yields and stronger stalks. 1,000 square feet can produce between 40 and 60 pounds of wheat berries. Ground into flour, that is enough for over 50 loaves of bread. Combined with the other crops on this list, a family moves from gardening toward genuine food independence. Wheat stores almost indefinitely when kept dry. Whole berries found in Egyptian tombs remained viable after 3,000 years. No other food offers that kind of permanence. Growing grain requires more space than vegetables, but even a small plot changes everything. It reconnects you to knowledge that existed before grocery stores, before supply chains, before the illusion that food appears without effort. These 10 crops are not just plants, they are a system. Planted together in January, they create rolling harvests from spring through the following winter.